What was your initial reaction when you heard Biden say, quote, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black?
My initial reaction was exactly what I said. You know, that's what my focus was. You know, it's not about Trump. It's about who is going to present the best deal for black people, who is going to have an economic justice plan for black people, who is going to finally give black people what they are owed for building this country. You know, slavery was America's original sin that this country has not repented for. And, you know, and to fix the systemic wrongs that have been done by the black community, you have to create legislation and policies and plans to counter that. And I'm on board with whoever is offering that. I vote my interest and my interest of black period. So what I said to him, that was my initial reaction.
You are open then to voting for Trump, like the choices are Trump and Biden.
No.
So
I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying that, you know, being that black people have been so loyal to the Democratic Party and, you know, we saved Joe Biden's political life in the primaries this year, I feel like, you know, they owe. Simple as that.
What was your overall takeaway from the conversation?
I heard him, you know, talking about, you know, things that he did for black people back in the day. But, you know, what have you done for me lately is my motto. You know, I see black communities all across America catching hell regardless of who's in the White House. And, you know, people like to bring up coronavirus and how it's hitting black people the hardest. Well, that's because we have a bunch of underlying conditions created by systemic racism that have never been fixed, you know. And like I said before, if you created legislation that hurt, then you have to create legislation that helps. It's just that simple. Like the whole system needs to be dismantled and rebuilt. And he's been a very intricate part of that system. You know, whether you're talking about, you know, in 84 with the mandatory minimum sentences for drug dealers, or you're talking about 86 with the crack laws that gave you more time for crack cocaine and powder cocaine. Are you talking about the 94 crime bill? Like he was, you know, really one of the people on the front line when it came to the war on drugs and mass incarceration. So I think that, you know, if he wants to be president, he needs to fix that. He needs to really, really, you know, help the people that have helped Democrats all of these years.
You're saying he still hasn't shown you why you would vote for him specifically?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. Like he has a black agenda called the Lift Every Voice plan. And I mean, there's some cool things in there, but I still think that it could be much stronger. He's already committed to having a black woman on the Supreme Court. And I think that, you know, a black woman running mate is necessary, especially after the day, you know. And like the statement he made was interesting, you know, because that's something I hear from other black people. You know, it's very interesting to see that an old white man also looks at black people in that way. Like that question, what makes somebody black? That's a discussion for black people to have, you know, and a white man is certainly not qualified to have that discussion. But people do connect blackness to support and protection of black culture. So I guess when we see a black person voting for Trump and you know Trump is a threat to marginalized people in this country, it does make you question how much that person cares about his people. So I understand the statement is just a shot coming from a whole white man like Joe Biden. It was a real Bulworth moment, if you've ever seen that movie.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Charlamagne. I always like talking to you. Yeah,
I like talking to you, too. And I just want to stress, man, that, you know, it is very important that, you know, he makes a black woman his running mate. You know, it's too many sisters that are overly qualified for the position. Stacey Abrams of Georgia, Val Demings of Florida, you know, Senator Kamala Harris. Like, it's just too many sisters out there for him to just look past.